All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Thoroughbred Underdog, and this is Dog's Day for August 26th, 2025. And in no specific order, we're going to talk about a lot of things in wrestling. We're going to talk about Heatwave. We're not going to talk about NXT tonight. That just went off. We'll talk about Heatwave. We'll talk about AEW and Raw and the very egregious incident that happened with Raja Jackson, that kind of overshadowed the AEW pay-per-view and the WWE PLE, NXT PLE. Among other things, talk about Jericho and, that and the ESPN deal and all this shit. But you guys know what it's like when you come here on Dog's Day. First and foremost, the days always switch up. What I like about Dog's Day is that it's kind of like the real quote, every dog has their day. And you never really know what day that's going to be. In the past few weeks, we've had Dog's Day on Saturdays. We've had it on Sunday, Mondays. And some days you don't get it. Some weeks you don't get it at all, depending on if I really feel like I have a lot or anything to say about what's going on in wrestling. But I know last week I didn't do one at all. And that's the thing about Dog's Day. I'm more organic with it. There are some people who do the, fans turn podcasters and they do recaps of Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views routinely. Whereas I do it when I really feel like I have something to say about something going on in wrestling. You don't get it every week. You're not going to get it every day. You're really going to get it when I feel like I have 2 cents on some subjects. So, yeah, I know I'm not the most consistent, but I do try to make it worthwhile when I do upload and I do my voice memos and I'm not exactly the most polished. I don't have the best cinematography. A lot of these times I just do a video. I have a screenshot, a thumbnail. And it would help if I had like pictures that correspond with what I'm talking about and timestamps and things like that. But I kind of just freestyle these things. I have a few notes and I just kind of shoot. I just kind of call it in the ring, just like a real wrestling match in today's era, I'm not like Macho Man where I know everything I'm going to talk about in a specific order and not stray away from it before I go into it. I just call it in the ring. And, yeah. So, sorry about the format, the day switch-ups and stuff like that, but I think that's strangely, in a quaint way, one of my allures is that you never know what you're going to get, like a box of chocolates. So they say in Forrest Gump. But we are going to talk about some things. And like I said, I'm going to give you some. I know for a fact I mainly came here to talk about the Raja Jackson incident and Psycho Stu. I posted about it, I think it was that Sunday. And I said I couldn't wait to talk about, I couldn't wait to rip them apart that day. But then, Sundays I work both of my jobs and I just really be tired. And that's why the format changes so much, the days and stuff like that, because it really depends on how my body feels. On a Sunday where I have to work both jobs, I might just want to go to sleep when I come home that night. And then even Monday, I'm just working at the Walmart and I still may be tired after I get off from there. And then, I gotta, so Tuesday is actually one of the better days because I'm off from both of my jobs. The only thing I'm doing is going to Planet Fitness. So I like Tuesday, but it really depends. Just know you're going to, you never know what you're going to get when it comes to me. It's like what Sting says. One thing's for sure, nothing's for sure, right? Let's see you say something along the lines of that. But, so let's go to my notes here. First and foremost, like I said, I just freestyle. So I still got pictures from a few weeks ago when I was going to do this. And I want to talk about the Triple H and Stephanie vacation pictures. There was pictures going around of them on their vacation, and people are body shaming Triple H. Not so much Stephanie, because it's a little bit more taboo to body shame a woman. And fortunately, it's not as taboo to body shame men, but you would think it would be wrong for both. But oddly enough, people are firing back. Like, why dissing Triple H? JBL went at people about it because they were talking about Triple H and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. I mean, what do people expect? This is aging, Triple H was born in 1969, which means that he is about what? How old is Triple H now? I'm not good at math at all, but Triple H is, 56 years old now? He's not going to look like he did when he returned in 2002 at the Norfolk Scope his entire life. And even Triple H now, with a slight beer belly, a muscular beer belly at that, still in a lot better shape than most of us. I mean, he can't work out like he used to. He's got the pacemaker in. We almost lost Triple H a few years back. I think in 2022 is when he had that heart attack. We can't take him for granted. I don't care how bad his creative can be sometimes. We almost lost Triple H. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's not rag on him because he doesn't look like he did in the McMahon-Helmsley era. Let's leave him alone, man. You know what I'm saying? We all get there. And I'm happy him and Stephanie still together. Because they got kids and everything like that. And a lot of people thought that he just married Stephanie for the clout and the power. I think if that was the case, he would have been exposed by now for it. But I was looking at that, and I wanted to talk about that a few weeks back when it first came about. And just people body shaming him. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. He still looks better than most of the people in the IWC. I know for a fact in that. But let's move on to the next picture I had here. So I also had something about R-Truth. And it says that his comedy character is back. And the serious version of him is gone in WWE. He says, you had serious truth. What more do you want from me? We've had the serious truth. Everybody wants to see me with the WWE World Championship. I'm the real definition of the people's champion. I don't need nothing, bro. Yeah, so I think at 53, I'm more popular than I've ever been in my life. And it was John Cena turning back babyface that brought babyface R-Truth back, because it was heel John Cena that brought serious heel or serious R-Truth back. So, and it's funny because that's the irony of it, is that was the last time we got serious R-Truth in WWE. The first time was when him and John Cena were feuding back in 2011 during the Capital Punishment build-up. So, I don't know how I feel about it, because I was kind of wanting to see where they would go with it. But it was very short-lived. I'm just happy R-Truth is back in WWE. They corrected that wrong with him, being released, and they brought him back. Can't say the same for Karrion Kross, who did appear at a GCW event and said it's not a fucking work. I think he helped, because Shotzi was having a match with Matt Cardona. And, Shotzi and Scarlett are like best friends, right, in real life. So Scarlett and Cross helped Shotzi defeat Matt Cardona. And he cut a promo and says, not a fucking work. Clearly, it's not a fucking work. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon. Definitely isn't going to AEW because of the Don Callis situation with Scarlett and him. I could definitely see if he gets signed, he'll probably go back to, like, TNA. It's a different regime from the last time he was there. And the last time he was there was when Don Callis was actually running things. So, I mean, yeah. So, I could see Cross probably going to TNA, but he all but confirmed that's not a work. I don't think it's a work anymore either. I mean, he could still do indie shots and still come back to WWE, but I don't believe he'll be back anytime soon. Which means that all that he spoke about, his videos, about his release and interviews about them basically saying, hey, we'll sign you, we'll talk to you and then deal with your wife later. It just makes WWE look really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of shit that went on when Vince was there. And this is the most vitriolic that Cross got about it. He hasn't shit on the company or anything like that. He's just been pretty, actually, mellow about it. Just like, hey, man, I want to come back. I want to finish my career there and everything like that. But him saying clearly it's not fucking work was the most anger that we've seen from him since this release. So, yeah, we're not getting him back. But yeah, that's what I felt about the Truth situation. I kind of wanted him to stay serious, but it is what it is. Truth is best in his comedic role anyway. He was a heel for like a cup of coffee. But yeah, so that's the next thing I had. Going by the next picture we have here. All right. So now we're going to go to our notes. So, as far as notes. Okay. I'm going to talk about the Chris Jericho return rumors. I don't think Jericho is ever coming back to WWE. Everybody's talking about, like, I don't know where this is coming from. All of a sudden, everybody's like, Jericho is, his contract's expiring, and they just assume because his contract's expiring that he's going to come back to WWE. And I don't know where, people are getting the notion that he's going to leave AEW just because his contract's expiring. Like, we haven't had people resign at the 11th hour. Like, there's nothing other than, his contract's expiring to him coming to WWE. Like, there's no, you don't hear anything about him having any heat with anybody or him having any dissension with Tony Khan or any of the other prefects or executives in the company. He hasn't even alluded to anything in social media. Okay, so today he had a post of him saying contemplating. And even somebody commented, like, everybody's going to, in their newswire, post that Jericho fuels speculation of WWE return by posting an Instagram picture saying contemplating. Jericho has trolled people before. He's trolled people when he was in WWE about returning. So what makes people think he won't do the same thing about him leaving AEW to go to WWE? Like, I just don't see where it's coming from. Just because his contract's expiring, they're just assuming, oh, we fully expect him to come back to WWE for the Royal Rumble and what have you. His contract expires at the end of the year. Like, I don't see it happening. Jericho's got a sweet deal in AEW. He's been, like, there since the beginning. He was basically their Terry Funk. The veteran that put them on, that won the championship. And was the big name to kind of, like, bring in viewers because he was the big name from the other company. I don't see him coming back to WWE anytime soon. I'm not saying he won't. I'll take it back. I won't say he's never coming back to WWE. There are some people that's in AEW that I don't think will ever come back to WWE. Like, I think that's it for Bobby Lashley. I think that's it for Ricochet. Definitely think that's it for Jack Swagger. He's pretty much been shitting on AEW since he's left from there and basically say he's retired. I don't think anybody's clamoring to have Jack Swagger back anyway. But I just don't get it. Like, no. So maybe on Cow Sheet, people could put a bet up. Hey, do you think Jericho is going to return to WWE? It's probably too early to place bets on him returning at Royal Rumble or whatnot. But and even then, what do you, beyond a Hall of Fame induction, people were shitting on Jericho's last couple of in-ring performances in AEW. You got to keep that same energy. Like, this is the same Jericho that you guys shitted on for an in-ring performance in AEW coming back to WWE. So it's not like he's going to, have that much difference in in-ring work in WWE, is he? Like, keep that same energy. Like, what, beyond a Hall of Fame induction. For me, if he does come back, I'm looking more forward to him having figures again, being in the games again, being in the Hall of Fame. But I'm not looking forward to seeing him in the ring anymore. Like, I would like for him to come back so we could get a redo of the Undisputed Championship version of him. They did like the, Defining Moments Jericho figure that had the WWE Championship and the WCW Championship. I would love for them to redo that. But other than that, I don't really care to see Jericho in the ring any more than I did in his last couple of AEW matches. So, I don't know. A lot of you guys don't even fuck with the figures. Which means more for me. But, like, I work at Walmart, obviously, right? And there are Stone Cold Steve Austin figures shelf warming. If you would have told me in 1999 that there would be a day where Stone Cold Steve Austin figures would just be sitting on the shelf, nobody buying them, I would have thought you were crazy. But it's a different generation, so I don't know. But that's how I feel about the Jericho return rumors. Another news, the Speed Championships. So WWE's partnership with X, formerly known as Twitter, is over with. Which means WWE Speed, as far as a program, is over with. But the championships will continue to be, because, Saul Ruka has the Speed Women's Championship. I forget who has the male championship. But the championships are going to be defended on NXT. Similarly to when they got rid of 205 Live, the Cruiserweight Championship was briefly defended on NXT before, I think, Carmelo Hayes won it and combined it with the NXT title. I forgot who he beat. I think he beat JD McDonough, right? I don't even remember. But, so the Speed Championship, I wonder if it'll still be the same format, like little less than 5-minute matches. It's going to be defended on there. Now let's talk about Raw for a little bit. So AJ Styles and Finn Balor had a good match. They've never had a really bad match, honestly. You got two of the Bullet Club, leaders, former Bullet Club leaders, facing off with each other. I remember when the match was novel, when they first had that match. I'm not good at remembering events. I think it was Survivor Series, though. Because we were supposed to get Jesus. Bray Wyatt dressed as Sister Abigail versus Pumpkin Patch Finn Balor Demon. And something happened with the Bray. I don't know if he had got sick. Was that pay-per-view where everybody got... it was like Bray, Roman, some others had gotten sick at the same time. So they had basically made AJ face... and then they had a low double-pack action figure pack. It was like Demon, Finn Balor, and the AJ Styles 2-pack that came of it. And that's the first time we got AJ versus Finn Balor in WWE. It was a really good match then. Even this match was really good. It was on free TV on Raw. Well, it's not on TV. You get what I'm saying. It's on Netflix. But the match ended in real cool. AJ is really cool about hitting the Styles Clash. And that's the mark of some of the best wrestlers in history, is like they can hit their move almost out of nowhere. Like Kurt Angle with the ankle lock, Randy Orton with the RKO, Shawn Michaels with the super kick, DDP with the diamond cutter. AJ's starting to make that happen with the Styles Clash. Like they had like a little exchange. So Finn tried to do the coup de grace, and then I think what happened after that? He tried to hit the coup de grace, right? And then AJ did something where he tried to hit the Styles Clash. And then Finn, did a backdrop to him or something like that. And then tried to do his double stomp. And then he missed. And then he tried to do a jackknife. And then AJ rolled backwards into it and him with the Styles Clash. You have to see it. It was pretty dope. But the way he does his Styles Clash every now and then, you got the one where he did the slingshot suplex into Ricochet, and Ricochet ricocheted against the third rope and into the Styles Clash. And then you got the one where Mustafa Ali hit the 450 on somebody in the match and then rolled into a Styles Clash. And then just the way he hits it sometimes out of nowhere is just phenomenal. But that's AJ Styles. You expect nothing less from him, right? Well, he's still feuding with Dominic for the Intercontinental Championship. Even though Dom beat him, I can't keep up with these pay-per-views. I know Clash in Paris is the next one. But was it SummerSlam? He just had the match against Dom. Yeah, it was SummerSlam. And he wore the Eddie Guerrero tribute attire, which I think is going to be a cool figure when they make it. But they're still feuding. And then Roman returned. Had a brawl with Bronson Reed. Attacked Braun and Bronson backstage. And no, he did not get his shoes stolen this time. But they had a nice little brawl. And that's a fresh feud. Braun versus or Roman versus Bronson Reed. That's a fresh feud. Shit's really going to hit the fan when we get Bronson or Braun Breaker versus Roman. That's the one everybody's really waiting for, because you get the spear versus spear. But we probably won't get that for a while because, September you got Clash in Paris. Before you know it, it'd be Survivor Series, and we will have Roman possibly once again teaming up with CM Punk, LA Knight, Jay, and I don't know who else. maybe Sami Zayn again. I don't know who he's feuding with right now. Isn't he on like SmackDown feuding with somebody? Yeah, is he on SmackDown right now? I don't know. I can't keep up. But they'll be going against Braun, Seth, and Bronson Reed, and 2 other heels. So, they have more than enough time. And then you could probably have it on Raw or something like that, which you don't too much see Roman have matches on, like the televised shows. He is damn near strictly a pay-per-view guy these days, or PLE guy. He'll make an appearance on there, do a promo, maybe have a brawl, maybe get ridden off of TV and get beat up, because ever since Roman's turned face, he's been getting his ass beat like a lot and laid out a lot. Ran off TV a lot. I mean, the man's got like 6 kids, so they write him off of TV a lot. I think he's returned to WWE and been written off of TV probably more times than Big Show's turned heel at this point. But, yeah, he didn't get his shoes stolen, so that's all that matters. Now, there was a little, I don't know who was facing who. Was it Braun? I think facing LA Knight, and after the match, which LA Knight lost again, Braun beat him with a spear. And then they attacked him, Bronson Reed and Bronson Reed and I think Seth. I get all these Brons confused, but they attacked LA Knight after the match, and then Jay and CM Punk helped LA Knight. But then you start having LA Knight and CM Punk fighting, pushing each other, and LA Knight tried to hit him with the BFT, the blunt force trauma, but he got pushed into Jay. So then Jay super kicks him. I said this wasn't going to be a recap, but it's slowly becoming one. And then he super kicks LA Knight, but then he also super kicks CM Punk. So, the whole time Seth talking shit like, because Bryan's ready to go and just be a pit bull like that he is and go attack them all. But Seth's like, no. Let them do it to each other. Let them pause. They're doing it for us. So, wrestling tropes, you get the good guys not being able to get along, and to the heels amusement trope. But I look forward to that Fatal 4-Way match. Now, what I will say is this. I will probably watch it, because Clash in Paris is going to be the last PLE that we get on Peacock, because they've decided to forego waiting until next year for the PLEs to be played on ESPN, and it has been announced that Clash in Paris will actually be the final PLE, and after that, they will start having the PLEs to premiere on ESPN. I'm not paying for that shit. I'm not. That's $30 a month. And Peacock, say what you will, I think we all miss the WWE Network. All this shit being spread out from, you gotta pay for Netflix, which goes up, almost every year, $2. You got fucking CW for SmackDown. You got, I think you got CW for SmackDown and NXT, right? You got so you go wait. So let me redo this. So you got Netflix for Raw. You got CW for SmackDown and NXT, if I'm not mistaken. And then you got ESPN for the PLEs, which is basically $20 from going back to paying for pay-per-views, basically. But not exactly, because sometimes you may get 2 PLEs a month from WWE. So you're really paying the price of damn near 1 PLE for 2. if you don't have ESPN already and you're not interested in the other content on ESPN, it's really no fucking point. Because you gotta essentially pay for cable to get, SmackDown NXT, because it's CW. Then you pay damn near 15, 16, 17 bucks for Netflix. And then 30 bucks for ESPN. And not to mention, what if you have all the other, streaming sites and stuff like that? Shit gets to the point where you might as well pay for cable. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because ESPN and Disney and Hulu are all one now, right? So it just gets super expensive after a while. And I'm not doing the shit. I'm content with just watching the highlights. Because the only time these days I watch full matches is if my favorites are involved, or I'm using it for to extract moves from wrestlers I play with on the games. Like I might watch a full match just to see, okay, update a move set for somebody on 2K25. I very seldom watch full matches or full shows these days. So me personally, unless they take away the highlights, which I highly doubt they'll do, I'm not doing that. I'm not. And I don't think anybody should. But, because you're paying $30 a month, and sometimes these pay-per-views don't even be worth it. Yes, it's still better than paying for a full pay-per-view back in the day. Because remember, before the WWE Network paying for a lot of pay-per-views, and they fucking sucked. It's the same as back in the 90s and shit. You would buy an album and there's maybe 2 good songs on a 15 track CD. But that was the only way you could get the tracks back then. You had no downloading. You had no internet. No LimeWire. Before LimeWire and Napster, the only way you could get a CD is if you bought it. So just imagine back in the days where you had to buy these pay-per-views and maybe one match on them would be good, but you just paid $60, $70 for it. So it's still better than that, but still, I just can't justify spending. And that's the bare minimum for ESPN. I don't think there's a cheaper plan than the $30, right? So yeah, I'm not doing that shit. But anyway, that's all I got for Raw, other than, actually, no, that's not the only thing I have for Raw. So, Becky Lynch got in some trouble, right? So, the past few promos, Nikki Bella, since she's had this little comeback, there's always something noteworthy going on her promos. She had the one with Liv that was really good. She had the last one with Becky, was really good, where Becky basically evoked Nikki Bella's failed relationship with John Cena. But this one wasn't so much. Well, Nikki did say something. She said that Becky was a C word, and everybody thought she was going to say cunt. Now remember, they're on Netflix. They don't really. And I've even noticed on some of the old school footage on YouTube, they have omitted the censoring. I was watching one the other day. It was the top 25 moments of Brock Lesnar's career, right? And when Brock did, it was actually the number one moment, I believe. Number one was when he lost a streak. But it had to be in the top 3. It was when Brock gave the superplex to Big Show on SmackDown on one time. They did not bleep out Taz saying holy shit. They let him say it. But before, it was once upon a time where they would have bleeped it out. Well, Naomi had a promo. She said, I ain't giving you shit. They didn't bleep it out. So you thought maybe the word that Nikki was about to say was cunt. Cunt is I keep saying it ain't shit. But that word is kind of it's up there. It is very much up there. As it makes bitch seem light. It's one of the worst things you could call a female. Dare I say it's the N word for women, right? But she called her a coward instead. And then Becky said, oh, I thought you were going to use another C word. That was all from Nikki this time. But it was what Becky said that really got her in a lot of trouble. I mean, Entertainment Tonight was even talking about it. Wrestling in general this week, because of this incident and the Raja Jackson incident, has been pretty much talked about the most it has since Hogan's death. Like, as far as, like, beyond just the wrestling circle. You got, like, mainstream people and mainstream outlets. People outside of wrestling talking about it. And garnering attention from casual fans and people that are outside of wrestling. But what Becky said, because they were in England, that's why Raw came on early, and you may have gotten the highlights in the middle of the day instead of, 7 or 8 o'clock. Raw was in England. In fact, WWE in general was in England this past weekend. And they had Raw in Birmingham, which, shows how much of a fan I was of Ozzy. I started liking Ozzy Osbourne when the show was out, like the Osbourne show. I remember there was a particular scene where there was like a fire, like he had like a bonfire or something. He went and farted over it, and it just had me dying laughing. So that's how I became an Ozzy Osbourne fan. I was 12 years old, 13 years old, 14, whenever that show was out. And that's all I remember. So I didn't know Ozzy was from Birmingham, England. I knew he had an accent. I knew he was from some part of Europe, right? So they in his hometown. So Becky comes out and says to Nikki, the only thing that can't, she's, ragging on the crowd. You got to get your cheap heat. Rag on the crowd, right? But she says the only good thing that came out of here died a month ago. Obviously talking about Ozzy, right? If I'm not mistaken, but did he die this month? Him and Hogan? Could be wrong. I don't even remember yesterday, let alone what happened a month ago. But rest in peace, Ozzy. And yes, even rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. So she says that, but I don't really even think that's the part that pissed people off. What she said was, if I was in Birmingham, I would have died too. He was smart enough to move to LA or something like that. Good on him for moving to LA. But if I was from Birmingham, I would have died too. And it pissed Kelly Osbourne off. So between Raja and Kelly Osbourne, I don't think they really understand the dynamics of wrestling and how it's a work. I think they both got worked. Clearly, Raja more than Kelly Osbourne because, Ozzy has made appearances on WWE. Him and Sharon, back when he had the guest host spot. I think Ozzy would have liked him being brought up on WWE TV like that because he was an entertainer and a good one at that. So I think Kelly Osbourne kind of got worked here. Some people may think it was too soon to bring up Ozzy. It's not like she's, said he's in hell like they did Eddie Guerrero that one time with that Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio program. It's not like she said that, but, I can understand to some degree being a little bit irritated by it because he is still fresh. But, I think Kelly got worked here. I'm not sure if Sharon Osbourne said anything, but, yeah. So there was that. But then that's it for me in Raw. I don't really got much else to say about it. SmackDown, Randy Orton came back, gave Drew McIntyre RKO. And it's going to be cool to see them feud until Cody returns. Because Cody is out I think they rid him off after that Claymore they got from the table just for him to go ahead and film his scene to Street Fighter. I still can't get over this cast. Like, it is just so wrestle-centric, so entertainment-centric. Like, they went the opposite of, like, what Mortal Kombat did. Like, Mortal Kombat had, outside of Carl Urban, not a lot of people you've ever heard of, right? But this one has, like, 50 Cent in it, and Roman Reigns, and freaking Cody Rhodes, fucking Jason Momoa, I think is Blanca. Just a very weird ensemble of, cast. But, nonetheless, I think that's why Cody was written off, so he could go and do his scenes. He's going to be Guile in the movie. Perfect for him, It's totally one of those things where, like, you would see, like a wrestling forum. Like, you go on, like, Instagram and you see, like, the little memes about if the Avengers was done in the 80s, and you would have, like, freaking David Hasselhoff steal as Nick Fury, but then you would have, like, freaking Wesley Snipes as Blade. Well, he played Blade anyway. You get what I'm saying, but, like, they had, like, Tom Cruise as, like, Iron Man, like, just all the hot stars of, like, the 90s and 80s playing the Avengers back then, and I think you have, like, Eddie Murphy as, like, Falcon or whatever. It's totally like that, but, like, the wrestling version. Like, hey, what if they made a Street Fighter movie with wrestlers? You would have, like, Roman Reigns be this guy, and then you would have, like, Cody Rhodes either be, Cody, or, Guile, because of the American. Or you could have John Cena play Guile, too. I think John Cena would have been better as Guile, because, figure-wise, physique-wise, even now, I think Cena would have been a better Guile. And even his facial structure, you know what I'm saying? Would have been perfect as Guile. You could have had Cody be the actual Cody. I mean, because what seemed like they had the prison time version, but then he had, like, him in a suit in, like, one of the later Street Fighter games, because he was, like, the mayor or some shit. He could have played Cody. You know what I'm saying? At one point, he was just Cody anyway in his wrestling career. He didn't have a last name. You could have had Bianca Belair play... who was the girl that was only in Street Fighter 5? I don't remember. But anyway, that's that. You got Roman playing Akuma, and then, I don't know, probably had, like, I don't know. This movie's gonna be interesting, though. I'm looking forward to it, and I also am looking forward to Mortal Kombat 2, even though I haven't seen the first one yet. I just feel a little weird about them making Johnny Cage be the protagonist, like the main protagonist. Yeah, you want something different. We already seen Liu Kang be the main protagonist in the games and, like, the movie in 1995, but Johnny Cage, and then you got Carl Urban playing him. If this was a Street Fighter movie, you would definitely have Miz playing Johnny Cage, which would have been perfect, but I don't know. It's an older Johnny Cage, and that's what it's meant to be. So, yeah. But that's the Street Fighter, movie. And then Chun-Li, they got the girl playing Chun-Li. I don't know her name. But in a movie where we're trying to go for, like, okay, sensible, like, options for, like if you look at the Ken actor, he looks like Ken if he was, like, if you had, like, one of those AI apps, like, hey, what would Ken look like Ken from Street Fighter look like in real life? He looks fair enough to play Ken. But Chun-Li's actress, who is very attractive, she's a very attractive woman, but I'm sorry, Chun-Li was thicker than a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chun-Li's known for being one of the first thick representations in video games. Like, the thick thighs, the fat ass, you know what I'm saying? And the actress, all due respect, not to body shame, doesn't really have those proportions. So it's just like, in a movie where you're like going for like, oh yeah, we want somebody that already is coming in with like a certain disposition or certain, aura to them. Like when you think of Roman, like you could see him playing a Kuma. You could see a Cody Rhodes being a Guile, even though I would have loved for it to have been Cena. You look at the guy playing Vega, you could understand that. You know what I'm saying? But then you got the Chun-Li actress, and it's like, Chun-Li is like known for her thick thighs. Even her moves are lots of kicks and stuff like that, right? And that actress just isn't like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's the only thing, so far. Speaking of thick, have you seen this Persephone chick from CMLL? She was in the match. I think it was her, Alex Windsor, and Mercedes Moné. They had a triple threat match at Forbidden Door, right? Because, Sasha has like 10 belts now. She just won another belt at another like indie promotion, which I don't mind. Like I said, I'm not going to ever really get on here and say anything bad about Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, because she was nice to me. And y'all might listen and say, what a fucking simp, right? When you have somebody like Mercedes Moné whose reputation precedes her, all right? And the consensus is she's not very nice to her fans. She's kind of a bitch. And then me, who already does not have the best luck romantically, does not have the best luck with women. I'm already going in like, man, I want to meet Sasha, but fuck. They say don't meet your heroes, and it's like, women already act a certain way towards me. I don't know why. Like, I'm just totally not that guy. I'm a good dude. Never laid a hand on a woman. Don't have a history of violence towards women. Never stalked a woman. None of this shit. But you would think, based on the way women act towards me and look down at me and roll their eyes at me, that I was this fucking just pervert, creep motherfucker, right? So it's like, already being somebody that's treated poorly by women, I get mistreated by Sasha Banks on the autograph sign and meet and greet, and she's got this reputation from fans. Everybody's talking about how mean she is to fans and how indifferent she acts. Would have crushed me. And then to get her be one of the nicest wrestlers I've ever interacted with, she was just so buoyant and bubbly and cool. Yeah, I'm not saying shit bad about her. She could win every championship in the fucking world. You could literally put her on SmackDown. You could put her on WWE 2K26, and I'll give her every fucking belt. Because her being kind to me when she had that reputation in the IWC did hit us, it meant a lot to me. So if you think I'm a simp because I'm not going to say shit bad about her winning every belt, call her Sasha Hogan or Mercedes Hogan, then it is, be that as it may. But she retained her championship. I don't know I don't know which one of her belts is on the line. She's got so many. She even had like another entrance where, they were in England too. Were they in England? I just know I know they were in Europe too. Both events. NXT's was in, I don't know if Heatwave was in England. But I think they may have been in England too. Forbidden Door. I know WWE was there. I'm not sure about NXT, but I know for a fact because they had like Nigel McGuinness have another like special match, and Sasha came up with like not the Russian guards, but the English guards, with big old like hats, and each of them had one of her championships. But she retained. She got the pin on Persephone with a rope like the Hurricane Rana pin. Persephone thick as fuck though. I love me a thick chick, man. Like, they better hope, AEW better hope that they don't pull a Stephanie Vaquer and sign her like they did Stephanie Vaquer. Probably another one of them situations where it's like, okay, we didn't know who they were before we saw them on our competition. Let's sign them. Because it's kind of what they did with Stephanie Vaquer. But she's a star now, so. But I could definitely see them doing something like that with Persephone. Going down to NXT, Sean be like, because Sean just signs every thick. Like, Sean is like the John Laurinaitis that signs models that can wrestle. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody, like, hindsight's 2020, but everybody likes to look at the Divas era now like it was some great period in wrestling, and it wasn't. Like, you got people calling for Kelly to be in 2K26. I'm like, you guys need to know the difference between alumni and legends, and veterans and those who are venerable versus legends. Like when they put Wade Barrett in the game, right, as DLC, and he was a part of a legends like pack. I'm like, Wade Barrett's alumni. He's not a legend. He's alumni. So it's like, Kelly is alumni, but she's not a legend at all. She'll probably go in the Hall of Fame one day. I mean, because for that era, she was the most popular. But she wasn't shit in the ring to me. But, like Eve Torres, was alumni. She's not a legend, but they put her in the game as a legend. You guys got to know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Divas era was frowned upon. But now people are starting to look back at it like going back to saying, it's like going back to say, like, WCW in 2000 wasn't that bad. Yes, it was. The Divas era was that bad. Why do you think, you know what I'm saying? Like, today's era in women's wrestling is the best it's ever been to me. From a wrestling standpoint, from a wrestling and aesthetic point. And I just don't see it with the Divas era. Like, Kelly was the most popular, but you guys got to stop with this legend shit, man. So anyway, alumni, right? Sean is like, because John Laurinaitis back then, he would sign all these women from model catalogs, and they couldn't wrestle a lick. You had the Diva Search bullshit, and the cringy segments with those. And, you had a few good standouts from that, but most of them women couldn't wrestle, man. Like, let's just keep it a buck. So Shawn Michaels is basically doing what John Laurinaitis did, but he's signing women and they can wrestle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's signing hot women that can wrestle. You got Stephanie Vaquer, you got Lola Vice, you got Jada Parker, you got Kalani Jordan, you got Tatum Paxley, you got JC Jane, you got what's the other person in her group? I can't think of her name. The one who just had the NXT North American Championship, the Women's North American Championship, who was with Brooks Jensen and Bull Buchanan's son. I can't think of his name. I can't think about it. Can't think of a name. But Sean signs hot women that can wrestle. Whereas John Laurinaitis just signed hot women and, hey, Let's just put them on TV and whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? So I could definitely see Persephone getting signed by WWE. I hope they do, because we could use more fine-ass women that can wrestle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a gooner at all. I'm not the type that's just going to go and watch NXT just for the women and then just act like somebody who had my kid in the graduation ceremony, and after my kid walks across the stage, I leave. I don't do that. When I watch the highlights, I don't just watch the women's segments. I look at them all. Like, obviously, I watch the highlights so I could do this dog's day for you guys. But I'm a fan of some of the, like, a lot of workers, a lot of wrestlers and stuff, outside of just, like, the women's wrestlers. Like, I love Jada Parker. She is fucking beautiful. But her finisher, man, like, and now they got Asuka doing the same shit on Raw, the running butt bump finisher. I just don't think it's finisher worthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gotta do something new with her. Like, if you're gonna give her a finisher, give her like the crunchy or something like that, like the dude buster that Trent Beretta does. If you want to have her have a nice move that accentuates her bottom, I think that'd be a dope finish. And she's tall enough to do it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think now I ain't gonna say I dislike Michelle McCool. I have no beef with Michelle McCool. I think a lot of her heat comes from how Taker puts her over so much. Like, she's replacing, like, his former co-host on, 6 Feet Under. Then she's replacing Mickie James on, LFG. Then she's in the Hall of Fame. Then she's getting, like, bonus spots in the Royal Rumble. I think a lot of her hate is unwarranted. And the only thing with the Hall of Fame is she would have went in there eventually. I mean, Laycool was a popular act. Same thing with, like, Kelly Kelly. Laycool was a popular act. But I think she mostly got heat because of who she went in there before. Like, you're in there before Miss Elizabeth. You were in there before Luna Vachon. You were in there before, Chyna's an individual inductee. You were in there before Victoria, and people have been clamoring for Victoria to even, get inducted, which finally now she signed a Legends deal. She's going to be in the next DLC pack for 2K25. There are going to be figures of Victoria coming out. So I think Victoria will probably go in next year, which would be dope. She even got in before Melina. So, I don't have no beef with Michelle McCool, but I say all that to say this. I prefer her styles clash over AJ's because of her height. I think that's a move better suited for somebody that's a little bit taller. AJ's like 5'11". So a lot of times I get worried seeing him hit the Styles Clash. Thankfully, in the almost decade that he's going on being in WWE come next January, he's only hurt one person with the Styles Clash, and that was James Ellsworth. I don't even think he hurt him. He's only botched it one time. Did he do it to Cena one time? I don't think he botched it with Cena, but there was a scary moment they had in a match where he was about to, like, do one from the top turnbuckle, and he, like, jumped with Cena in the Styles Clash position, and it was so scary. It looked like he could have one false move, and he could have, like, had Cena land right on the top of his head. But he's only, like, botched it once since he's been in WWE. Because, sometimes, in wrestling, people are taught to chuck their chin. And then you have this one exceptional move where you're not tucking your chin, and then that's how the Styles Clash gets botched. In fact, it's a very scary move. That's a lot of reason why, Lionheart, before he passed away, had his issues. I think his career ended because of the Styles Clash. So certain moves, you need a little bit more height for. I just can't Going back, I just don't like Jada Parker's finisher. If you're gonna give her a move, give her the crunchy. If you want to, because she's got a fat ass and you want to like pull the Naomi, oh, she's got a big old butt, let's have her use it in her finisher. Give her that. You know what I'm saying? But that running hip attack that she does or butt strike that she does, we ain't feeling that. But anyway, let's go on back to, let's get on NXT Heatwave, right? I'm on hour in. I haven't talked about this Raja shit, so I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit. This is the thing about when you get Dog's Day, right? Yeah, I ramble a lot. I may go a week without it, but when you get it, you get a nice long episode, right? So NXT Heatwave. Again, I don't watch it for reviews. I watch the highlights. Triple threat match, a little bit I seen of it was a banger. It was, again, Kaylani, Jada, and Lola. Lola won, but so she's going to be getting a women's championship shot against JC Jane, which, I don't know, man. You had Lola fight Roxanne and lose. And then did her and Stephanie Vaquerba have a match? I don't recall. But I don't know. I think I would like to see Lola finally win it. I feel like before Lola or Jada go up to the main roster, either one of them have to win it. And then where's Lainey Reed at? I don't think has she had any matches? Maybe one or two since she's debuted. They kind of like flirt with her, even with JC Jane. They've had interactions. But JC did just lose the championship. Well, we skipped that. So the triple threat match. Kaylani is basically one of the best female high flyers, along with Io Sky to me. She just so much like a female Rob Van Dam with some of the shit that she does. Definitely fun to play with in the game. So I like Kalani. A lot of people don't like Kalani. I said I want to go talk about NXT tonight, but a lot of people were like shitting on her being one of the very few people to pin Blake Monroe, who I always call, Mariah May, but I called her Mariah Monroe a few times back. But Blake Monroe, she, Kalani beat her tonight with the split-legged moonsault. But I like Kalani. I love her high-flying abilities. Definitely fun to play with in the game. I think Jada should have won that match. But I don't mind Lola at all winning it. Dana Brooke beat JC Jane for the women's championship, the TNA championship, so they got one of their belts back to their show. I think this is Dana's like third championship since the 24/7 championship, because I think she was tag team champion or is a tag team champion. She got a little stable. But wow, she's a world champion now. This Ash by Elegance thing was the best thing to happen to her. So a lot of people have gone from WWE and had like a career resurgence in TNA. Nick Nemeth being one of them. Won the world championship when he left. Go to there. Santino had a career revival. So I'm happy that Dana Brooke, a.k.a. Ash by Elegance, won her first real world championship. A lot of people had rather Masha Slamovich win it, but Masha just had the championship, so she didn't really need it. But I'm glad Dana Brooke got it, Ash by Elegance. I like the dynamic between Chelsea Green and Ethan Page, the Canadian connection. Just two good comedy characters, which Ethan Page could be either one. He could be a psychotic, like Dexter type character with the twisted grin, but he also could be very comedic too. I think he's going to be a star when he get the main roster. But when has there ever been a bad wrestler from Canada? Let's be honest. I mean, even Bastion Booger was is he from Canada? Wasn't he Moccasin at some point or something like that? But he was trained in Canada or wrestled in Stampede or something like that. But it was a cool spot because they fought Sarah. I almost called her Sarah Stock. I can't think of the chick's name. The Olympic gold medalist. It was her and Tavion Heights. I cannot think of her name. That's so bad. But the sister hit Ethan Page with a German suplex because I think Alba Fire was in Chelsea Green's corner. She was trying to pull like Ethan Page to the corner so he wouldn't get the suplex. But then, let me look up her name. God. I know her name is Stock. All right. Tyra May Steele. Her real name is Stock. Surname is Stock. But Tyra May Steele. She's gifted. She's gonna go places in the WWE. But they were booing her. They were booing her, and they were booing her offense on Chelsea Green. But she hit a nice little German suplex on Ethan Page. And at the same time, Ethan Page had like Alba Fire in like a fireman's carry position. So when she hit him with a German suplex, Ethan Page gave a fallaway slam to Alba Fire. It was pretty dope. But Chelsea Green and them won the match. She hit Tyra May Steele with the Unpretty Her. And they won the match. But yeah, Chelsea Green is over, man. Like, she's not gonna get booed because she's that good of her character. She's just hilarious and she's charismatic. So it's like the fans aren't gonna boo her. But yeah, Tyra May got booed. It was crazy. And then now I'm gonna link this. There was a cool spot because Javon Evans fought Oba Femi. It was the NXT championship on the line. At some point in this match, Javon hit the Cody Cutter. I know he doesn't call it the Cody Cutter, but so many people use that move, like between or variants of it. It's like you got him using it, then you got when Chris Bay was wrestling, he used it. Then you got Jay Lethal doing the lethal, injection, which is like the the springboard one. Where he does like the front flip against the ropes into it. Who else does it? Somebody, Oz Cutter, Will Ospreay does it. So many people using it. But Javon did it to Oba Femi, and he actually pinned Oba Femi, but Oba Femi's foot was under the ropes, right? So you're like, damn, Javon just won a championship, which I thought I thought he was going to win the match. But no, so Oba recovers from it and he pulls a Mike Awesome and tosses Javon Evans onto the announcer's table. It was a crazy spot, but that still wasn't the craziest shit I seen this weekend. That was planned and it was still nasty. Like when he tossed him, he went through the table. And then, Oba got him in the ring, gave him the pop-up power bomb. He calls the fall from grace, won the match. Okay. Ricky Starks comes out. He's going to be next challenger for it. They're going to have, NXT No Mercy is going to be Ricky Starks versus Oba Femi. You will probably get Ricky Starks versus Javon Evans somewhere in between there. Just because Javon probably feels like he has unfinished business with Oba Femi or wants a rematch. Or they probably turn into a triple threat match. Who knows? A lot can happen between now and No Mercy, right? But, yeah. So that was NXT. AEW-wise, they had Forbidden Door. Edge got a song. Sung probably by the most and the loudest he's ever had it sung, the Metalingus. He even got emotional a little bit during his entrance, just seeing it. And I think that was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy people appreciate Edge, even though his AEW run hasn't been the most eventful. I'm very glad to see him getting the ovations and people like singing his song in unison like that. First time him and Christian teamed up, because, you know, they fought Kit Sabian and returning Luchasaurus. They won the match, but that was the first time they teamed up in damn near 20 years. So that was cool to see. But another cool thing about AEW is they've been uploading a lot of matches, so I guess they got the Ring of Honor vote unofficially on AEW's channel. They just need to do like a separate Ring of Honor, you know, vote page on YouTube. And they uploaded, oddly enough, Eddie Guerrero, because they own the footage. It was Eddie Guerrero and I think Amazing Red versus the SATs. And that's a deep cut. But, you know, that's just so cool because before AEW, you don't see a lot of Ring of Honor on YouTube at all. Like, they were very good about making sure they shit didn't show up on YouTube. Like, you think WWE's quick to strike down some shit on some copyright? Nah, Ring of Honor was notorious. Like, if you try to upload Ring of Honor footage, they will swat that shit like a fly, like that. Like, you can hear my finger snapping. They did not play about you uploading their footage. So to finally see, like, full Ring of Honor, like, old school matches on there, that's pretty dope. I still wish they would hurry up and make a Samoa Joe, like, Ring of Honor classic figure, though. Like, I think the next one they're coming out with is Christopher Daniels, which I'm going to buy. I just hate they gave him that big-ass chest like they gave Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. Like, their women's figures still shits on WWE's. Like, easily. If it's one good thing that Jazzware is doing with the AEW figures, their women's figures shits on WWE's as far as, like, detail and molds. And I was on, like, Instagram the other day, and they were comparing, like, the new Penta figure coming out by WWE, Mattel, versus the AEW ones. I'm like, the AEW one wins. The AEW one wins. Now, I know, like, Penta's new attire is a little bit more flat. He doesn't have, like molding in his attire now. So it's a different attire, but the AEW figure was dope. Like, I don't really even see the need to upgrade and get the WWE Penta figure unless you really just want to have, like, a WWE version of Penta. But the AEW figure his AEW figures were good. So that was back when they cared a little bit more about attention to detail to, like, their figures. Now they don't really, you don't get distribution like you used to for the AEW figures. It takes them forever and a day to release them. You know, we've had whole, like, versions of figures get shown and then just inexplicably never released. Like the Supreme Young Bucks that never came out when they were heels that first time. You know, just a lot of weird things going on with their male figures, but their female figures just shit on WWE's. That's why I'm worried about, like, a Jada Parker figure coming out, a Lola Vice, because their proportions, if Jazzwares did this, their proportions would be better justified than what WWE's doing, because they're still using that same lanky mold from back when they first started making figures. So yeah, but I just think it's dope that they're doing Ring of Honor matches, albeit on their main channel. I think they should have, like, a separate Ring of Honor Vault channel, and they're giving you bit by bit. Like, they're not giving you full shows or anything like that just yet. They're giving you matches. Hidden gems is what they call them. But they're just tipping the iceberg of what they can do. Like, they're giving you crumbs. So it's only a matter of time before we get, like, the Nigel McGuinness versus Bryan Danielson matches. I know not too long ago, that I think they uploaded Bryan Danielson versus Morishima, which is a good match back in the day. But it's going to be crazy to see what they can do with certain matches. Like, will they upload Samoa Joe versus CM Punk? That hour-long spectacle they had back in the day. Because WWE and AEW operate a little bit differently. Like, just to fuck with people a little bit more about this Chris Jericho shit, WWE's been uploading a lot of, like, Chris Jericho footage on their website, on YouTube and shit like that. Like, they just had the Jericho versus John Cena match when it was right before Jericho left. And came back in 2008, was it? 2007? Where Cena beat him in that loser leave town match or whatever, like where Jericho had to leave Raw if he lost to Cena. So just because there are trolls like that, they're fucking with you, and Jericho might not even come back. It's just to fuck with fans. Because this is the same thing like with the Mystery Iguana footage. Like, y'all saw what happened, right? With the Mystery Iguana and Finn Balor puppet, which is $100, which I love puppets. I love the Bray Wyatt puppets when he had the Firefly Funhouse, and he had like Mercy the Buzzard and Abby the Witch and everything. But $100 for a fucking stuffed animal is ridiculous. But you know what it was like. They had like the footage and they said it was like really graphic. And it was just the Finn Balor puppet eating Mr. Iguana's iguana puppet. They troll. And whoever's doing like their social media and stuff like that definitely is in touch with like the IWC sense of humor. Like, I like that they have people that kind of understand nowadays. They're not as out of touch as they used to be, right? But yeah. So I don't know if AEW would do that. Like, WWE will straight up show you matches of people that's still in AEW on their vault. Like Big Show matches, fucking matches that's got like Chris Jericho in it, Samoa Joe, you know what I mean? And there won't be anything to it. They're not coming back anytime soon. The person's contract might still be going on AEW for another 2 to 3 years. They just show you the match. Nothing to it. Whereas AEW is a little bit more like one of the best matches in Ring of Honor history was CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. But we're not going to put that on our shit because we don't fuck with CM Punk. You know what I'm saying? So it's pettiness on both sides. Like, the whole, like, I definitely believe there's a lot of pettiness where WWE will try to, like, counter-program. Like, they won't even have any plans to do an event until, hey, AEW is going to be doing an event in ECW Arena. Oh, guess what? Oh, yeah, well, now suddenly WWE is going to do a show, and they're going to have WrestlePalooza. Okay, so AEW is going to do September Remember. We're going to do WrestlePalooza because they did a similar ECW show name. Now we're going to do an ECW show name. Okay, the same weekend or whatever. Or we're going to have John Cena's retirement match for Saturday night's main event the next time y'all do All In or whatever the fuck, right? Or World's End or whatever the fuck. And it's petty. It's petty. I think Tony Khan says a lot of things out of turn, out of his mouth. But there are times where I also feel like he has legitimate gripes and he's not just bugging out. They're doing shit to fuck with him and fuck with his company. And I don't think it's completely out of, I don't think it's completely far-fetched that WWE's buying and partnering up with all these networks and streaming sites that if AEW were to lose their deal with TBS and TNT, they really don't have anywhere to go. You know what I'm saying? Because WWE's partnered with a lot of the places that would be viable for them to go and continue their programming. So, yeah, it's There's some petty shit going on. I see it. But it's on both sides, though. It's definitely on both sides. And speaking of both sides, there are definitely botches on both sides. There was a referee. It seems that certain botches happen more on one program than the other. Like on AEW, definitely have seen it more often than in WWE, where like you would have a match and the referee would count and then stop at 3 because somebody forgot to kick out, or there was still another spot left in the match, or somebody was supposed to hit their finisher a second time. It happened at Forbidden Door. I forgot from what match, but it happened. But there was a botch. So Ricochet has linked up with what's the group? Gates of Agony, right? And one of the guys looks like Michael B. Jordan, a swole version, even more swole version of because Michael B. Jordan's already kind of like chiseled, right? But even more swole version of Michael B. Jordan if he grew his hair out with dreads. I think that's the Khan dude, or whatever, Quan, or whatever his name is, right? Or Quan, whatever. And then there's another member that looks like Bronson Reed if he lost a little bit of weight. So I think his name is Toa Leon, right? So there was a part of the match where this guy named Michael Oku, I don't really know a lot about Michael Oku. It was Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. They have a little group now because, you know, MJF got kicked out of the Hurt Business. So Ricochet and them and MJF cost the Hurt Business Tag Team Championships, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm always wrong. And they were going against Michael Oku and Jet Speed. So there was a part in the match where Toa Leon gave Michael Oku a pounce. And Michael Oku was supposed to do a, sail over the top rope. Man landed a backflip right on his fucking head. It was bad. It looked bad. And you get these you could do a drinking game on AEW TV. You could really do a drinking game on both. But, because that's just the way wrestling is nowadays. Everything is about spots and getting your shit in, and could care less if, hey, this move looks so obvious, like I am waiting for you to do the attack on me. It's just nature of wrestling nowadays because of how spotty it is. But fuck, man, you could just be blitzed, just fucking white girl wasted by the time you do a drinking game on AEW, of how many times somebody gets a botch like that seriously looks hurt. Like it looks bad, and you'd be shocked that the wrestler even continues to match. He went on to continue the match and even had another spot in the match where he landed on his head. I'm like, fuck, this is bad. But, I'm going to link you guys to that. I'm actually going to link the Raja footage too. We all adults here. Shit's not for the faint of heart, though. Just to let you know. It's graphic. Even if you've seen like some of the bloodiest UFC fights, yeah, it was nasty, that Raja footage with Psycho Stu. So just fair warning, if you somebody that's not really a fan of like actual violence, you might not want to click that link when I post it. It's all over the place. But anyway, that's all I got to say about AEW. The only other thing I have here before I get to that is, well, we are finally at that. So, this is the part where I talk about it. Okay? So, Raja Jackson is former UFC fighter and champion and Hall of Famer Rampage Jackson, son. That's his son. And Rampage obviously is retired. He doesn't do MMA anymore, but he streams now, as does his son Raja. Raja and him do their streaming on Kick. And Raja has his own channel, but occasionally he appears on there with his father, Rampage. And, well, Raja, for some odd reason, was appearing at a Knox Pro show. Now, it's worth noting Knox Pro is Rikishi's wrestling school. All right? And, I think Gangrel used to run it with him, too. But it's a different dude runs it with him now. I don't think Rikishi was there when this shit happened. But I don't know what Raja was doing there. He got invited by somebody or knew a friend or something there. And the thing is a lot of times when wrestlers see people in the back, it's the presumption is that they're coming back there knowing what world they're entering. You know, they know, okay, I'm going in the back. I know that it's certain etiquette in, you know, the locker room or, you know, when you're around the boys and what have you. So it's this wrestler named Psycho Stu. And he comes up to Raja. You know, Raja's shooting the shit with some other wrestlers. One guy looks like a cowboy version of Ricochet, right? And Raja's streaming all this. So, the guy goes up to him, Psycho Stu. That's the wrestler's name. He kind of looks like Ivar/Hansen from the War Raiders. So he goes up to him. He's like, oh, so you don't know who I am? And now, mind you, he thinks Raja's in on the work, right? Because he's back there in the unauthorized area. You know what I'm saying? It'd be no different if you see, like, if you know, me at Walmart, right? Somebody comes in the back they never seen before. You presume, okay. You don't think first it's a fan or it's a customer, but it's a customer. You presume that they work there. Okay, well, you back here, and, you know, obviously for you to be back here, you work here, or, you know, maybe you're off the clock, but you work here nonetheless. So, you know, Psycho Stu's thinking the guy's back here, oh, he must be a worker. You know, why else would he be back here with a camera? You know what I'm saying? Streaming. So he goes up to him and he's like, oh, so you don't know who I am? And then he, like, smashes like a beer can on the side of Raja's head, you know, and spills out something. Well, Raja's like, no, what the fuck was that for? You know what I'm saying? And right when Psycho Stu hit him, like, Psycho Stu's like, got his hands out. You go sell it for me? And Raja like, I don't play that shit. Don't play like that. Like, what was that fucking for? And one of the guys is like, hey, dude, he's not a worker. He, you know what I'm saying? And then Psycho Stu like backing off like, okay, my bad. I didn't know. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, he even grabbed like Raja's head almost like he's about to hug him. And Raja moved his hands out the way like, don't fucking touch me. So Raja's legitimately livid here. And the guy has to like fill him in like, hey, look, he didn't know. Like, this is what we do. This is the wrestling world. We always like working and in that mode of like kayfabe and whatever like that. So since this happened, what we'll do is, if you want to, you know, make something out of it, we could have you in on it and you could come and attack him during his match. Well, him not knowing the difference between a work and a shoot, even the Psycho Stu apologized to him. He shook his hands like, look, man, I'm sorry. I see the camera and whatnot. You're back here. You know, I thought you was one of us. You know, I thought you were a worker or whatnot. I'm sorry about that. So one of the guys tells him like, hey, you could have a run-in spot later on in this match later on. and you could, quote unquote, get your lick back, right? Well, we go to the footage of the match. Psycho Stu's having a match with some other gentleman, and hits him with a spear. Irish Whip rebound, gives him a spear. Now, Raja is on the phone, but he's also streaming still on Kick and saying, like, hey, this ain't ain't no script shit. I'm not doing nothing scripted. I'm going up in there. I'm hitting him as many times as I possibly can. And they say I can hit him for real, too. So I'm about to run up in there. I'm about to yada yada. Okay? It's worth noting that one of the wrestlers in the back, I think the guy who looks like Ricochet, told him, like, you get your receipt and you just go up in there and tag his shit. You get your receipt, and if you don't want to do it, I'll go out there and do it for you. Now, I don't know if they think this is just semantics. You know what I'm saying? We don't literally mean go out there and do what you did. And maybe since they shook hands, that he knows now, like, hey, you don't go out there and really hit him. It's a work, yada, yada, all right? So, when Raja, the spot was planned. Raja was supposed to go up in there and, do it and whatnot. And Psycho Stu was expecting him to. But when Psycho Stu and him shook hands, that was an agreement like, hey, okay, my bad. I thought you were a worker. No harm, no foul. Okay. So when Raja agreed to be a part of the spot, it was also like he agreed to work the spot. You don't agree and shake somebody's hand like, hey, we play fighting. This is a part of the show. And then disarm the guy and basically say, okay, my bad, I didn't know it's a part of the show. And then go out there and retaliate like it wasn't. So what happened is he goes in the ring and he gives him like a legit MMA slam. Like you would think it was like a Alabama slam or like a spine buster, but he gave him like a legit like MMA slam. Psycho Stu was already out from the slam. The way his head hit the mat. And then this guy just fucking gives him like the fucking Tommy Morrison versus Ray Mercer while he's on the ground. Like just punching him. If you think Brock Lesnar giving Randy Orton those elbows was bad, which it was because of the blood, it was bad, but Randy Orton sanctioned that. Like he knew Brock was going to do that. He told him to. Maybe he didn't know he was going to get a concussion from it, but Orton agreed to it. And then Jericho got worked because he didn't know that was happening. But he hit this man like 22 times in the face. And you just see his face bouncing off of each punch. His head bouncing with every legitimate punch. Wrestler comes in. This guy looks like Vance Archer with like pink hair. Comes in and gets Raja off of him. And then you got another guy who looks like a baseball flurry from the Warriors, like blue and white paint. Like shoulder thrusts him in the corner to hold him back. And it was just really fucked up. The whole time Psycho Stu ain't moved an inch. He was out the moment he got the slam. But, yeah, it was just fucking horrible. Numerous people have done videos about it. Maven just did one about it today. I'm going to watch that when I get off the phone with you guys, off the show with you guys. Fucking, you got everybody talking about it. MMA fighters talking about it. Urban media, like, is talking about it. Streaming sites are talking about it. People that don't even fuck, like, with wrestling is talking about it. like, you had two big events this past weekend. Heatwave happened later that evening, this past Sunday. Okay. I think the actual thing happened Saturday. But when I woke up this morning to go to McDonald's and work at 4 a.m., it was one of the first things I saw on my phone. So it had to have happened that Saturday. And the footage came out, and everybody was talking about it that Sunday. When I woke up at 4 a.m. that day, I went to Wrestling Instagram, and that was one of the first things I saw. So it was the talk of the town. It actually was being talked about more than Forbidden Door and Heatwave. It overshadowed them. And more is coming out on a daily basis. Like, if I would have talked about it Tuesday or when it happened Sunday, it's Tuesday now, it would have been premature based on how much has come out since then. First off, everybody and their mother who watches YouTube knows who Mr. Beast is. He's like a philanthropist who made it from YouTube. All right. Has candy bars and Walmart and everything. One of the most known YouTubers out there. Kind of like PewDiePie when he was still around before he, I guess, got canceled. But everybody knows who Mr. Beast is. It got his attention. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for Jim Cornette to do a video about it because I can't wait for him to fucking rip Raja. But I'm going to do a good job of that myself as just a fan. So I can only imagine what Jim Cornette's going to say about him as somebody that is pretty much a wrestling encyclopedia and still very much old school and atavistic in his wrestling convictions and tenets and beliefs and how things operate and work even today. There's a GoFundMe for him, for Psycho Stu. He's a former veteran. And they say that he used wrestling as an outlet to kind of combat his PTSD from, being a military man. So for him to go to wrestling as an outlet and then have some shit like this happen, he may not ever want to wrestle again after this. So more people on Team Psycho Stu than they are on Team Raja. There are some people empathizing for Raja because I don't watch any of the streams. I didn't even know a lot about Raja Jackson before this happened, which sucks because now he's got infamy. But word is that his, Rampage like rag on him and tease him and shit during their streams. And based on the way that Raja acted after, leaving the event, a lot of people think that maybe this was some pent-up frustration beyond just, oh, I got hit with a beer can, a prop beer can, and I got worked into a shoot. Maybe because of the way that his dad teased him on the streaming and stuff like that. And the black community, I think, is a bad look, too, because there's already the perception of the angry black man in America, right? Everybody's talking about black fatigue with, the stereotypical representations on these television shows nowadays. And, we got the Love and Hip Hop shit. You got the Bad Girls Club shit. You got shit that's going on cruises, plus what's going on in Chicago, and just, the rise of black on black crime and, trap and drill music and shit like that, not making us look good. And then you have this that's getting mainstream attention. Like, this is up there with Hulk Hogan dying. Like, when Hulk Hogan died, because Hulk Hogan was somebody that kind of transcended just wrestling, he's a household name. You didn't just have people in wrestling talking about it. Like, you had mainstream outlets and people from other sports and stuff like that talking about Hulk Hogan passing away. This is almost up there with that. Because now you got people outside of wrestling, casual fans, people who don't even watch wrestling, probably ain't watched wrestling since the Attitude Era, early Ruthless Aggression Era. Probably even know John Cena was retiring this year, covering this. It just looks bad, man. Like, there's already a really bad perception on, they call it the angry black man. And typically, a lot of these times, they call it fatherless behavior. Raja has his dad in his life. You know what I'm saying? And he still went out there and did this. And a lot has come of it. You know what I'm saying? Psycho Stu is not dead by the grace of God, but they say that he choked on his blood and on his own teeth. I don't know how anybody could think any of those punches were worked. But yeah, he was in really bad shape. He woke up from it. And there's a GoFundMe for it. Chris Jericho, who is just in a position where he's damned if he do, damned if he doesn't. Because it's like, when it comes to like doing like hospitable acts, like donating and stuff like that, always is going to be somebody saying, oh, he's virtue signaling. He's doing it for clout. But then if you don't do it, then people shit on you. Oh, how dare you? You got all this money and you're this good guy, this man of virtue, but you didn't donate. And it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But Chris Jericho donated $2,500 to, Psycho Stu's GoFundMe. And Rusev actually commented on it because he's known the guy for 15 years. He didn't shit on Raja at all. He was just saying like, hey, I hope you have a strong kick out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? I've been knowing him for 15 years and stuff like that. And obviously Raja will be a marked man if he ever goes near a wrestling show again. He didn't get arrested for it. It happened in L.A., so LAPD are investigating the situation. But he got kicked out for kick, which is ironic enough. You got kicked off a kick. Knox Pro, which had a WWE ID association, WWE just basically got their partnerships with like some of the smaller indies and wrestling schools. Well, they were a part of it, and it's got to affect Rikishi in some way. They released a statement about it, saying they didn't condone it and whatnot. But they lost their ID tag over it. And that sucks because Rikishi is pretty much the owner of the school. And, Rikishi's always got some shit to say. But he's been kind of silent about this outside of that statement. And it sucks, too, because the guy's mom was in the audience and she had to see that. So she saw her son get brutalized. And, who knows if she's in on it or not. She probably thought it was a show until, obviously it was confirmed that, no, he really got really messed up. And then, it's just been some really shitty takes on it. It's been mostly people in the business defending, Psycho Stu, and hey, he apologized. Like, he didn't know the guy wasn't a worker and whatnot. But, and some people that's like, hey, empathize with you, even empathizing for Raja. Like, hey, he got a concussion. Prior to that, he had he was training and he got kicked in the head by somebody. Even though, he took down a guy. I don't know if he was fighting or whatnot, but he got kicked in the head by somebody. He suffered a concussion. Then he's getting like low-key bullied and teased by his father on the streams. But, this is reprehensible behavior. This is a reprehensible act. And it was one of the most heinous things you could see on an indie show. And it just doesn't help the perception about indies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this guy telling him to tag his shit and go out there and give him a receipt. And maybe the guy didn't think he was going to go out there and do that. Maybe the guy just thought it's semantics. Like, he's not really going to go out there and fuck him up like that. But it just doesn't look good. You already got this negative perception on the indies that it's the Outlaw Mud show. They call them shit indies, shindy shows, and say, hey, these wrestlers do all this stupid shit for a hot dog and a handshake, doing reckless spots and fire spots and bleeding all over the place in high school gyms. And it's like, this just set the indies further back. And it wasn't even about the indie wrestlers themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was from an outsider. Somebody that's not even a trained professional wrestler. And maybe this is a dark side of the ring type situation because, for every Logan Paul, somebody you have come into the wrestling business and just makes it look facile, can perform, like it's a quick study, like a Logan Paul who comes in, just masters it like that, like a Kurt Angle did. You got a situation like this happening where you let somebody in, and I can't even say it go into the business for themselves because you have to know the business to at least do that, right? This guy didn't know the business. And it sets the indies back tremendously. Like, this is the type of shit that makes a person be like, yeah, I'm not going to wrestling. Wrestling is still carny. It's still a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of, angry meatheads. It makes the industry look bad. You know what I'm saying? It's just coming from somebody that's a fan. So you can only imagine what the actual workers think, which I can't say much about the workers on this show because you got one person saying, go out there and fuck them up legit. And then on the flip side, you got wrestlers who, like the Baseball Fury dude, basically, I don't know if he was saying something about it and it looked like he was cutting a promo. Like, dude, you trying to, because he was one of the few people that was chasing after Raja afterwards, like ready to fight him. Like, oh, you want to do that shit? Let's fight for real. And somebody was holding Raja back. But then he like did something else that made it look like he was like turning into a promo. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. But, yeah, it just sucks, dude. There was a lot of shit about this. It's pretty much the main thing everybody's talking about right now. But Rob Van Dam and Mark Henry are getting raked over the coals about it because they seemingly took, more so Mark Henry, because Rob Van Dam, people giving Rob Van Dam the benefit of the doubt because Rob Van Dam always high. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rob Van Dam is always smoking some weed. So people like, okay, maybe Rob was high. He ain't in his right mind. His faculties ain't always there. Plus the way he used to take power drivers, he probably ain't right in the head anyway. I mean, the guy basically had a spring in his head from power drivers and DDTs. So people is like, okay, Rob Van Dam ain't right in the head. And not for nothing, I am a fan of Rob Van Dam and Mark Henry. And my thing is, I'm not one to cancel somebody because you have one shitty take or multiple shitty takes. Like, I like the Dudley Boys. They're not my favorite all-time ECW tag team or my favorite tag team in general. That would be like the Hardy Boys for me. I think they're probably the most influential tag team of all time because look at the way that wrestling is now. It's more evident. Their style is more evident and influence than anybody else's is. I mean, at one point it was the Road Warriors, but the Road Warriors' direct influences were coming around when they were around. You know what I'm saying? The Hardy Boys' influence, man, it's a whole industry wrestling like them now. So, I like the Eliminators. I think they were ahead of their time, but Bubba Ray has shitty takes sometimes. But I'm not going to stop being a fan of him because of it. Mark Henry had the shittiest take on this whole incident, saying like, for one, he said he didn't know the full story, but he still commented on it. And he said like, he was like Raja at one point. He didn't like ribs. I mean, the story is Mark Henry got in trouble because a while back when he had a knee injury, when he first came into WWE, somebody hit his crutches. And Shawn Michaels came up to him. He's like, hey, man, something about your crutches and whatnot. Like, and, you know, because of Shawn having the reputation he did, Mark Henry thought he was fucking with him. So he's like, man, I'll break your little scrawny ass in half if you don't get the fuck away from me or whatever like that. And Shawn went and told Vince, like, hey, that guy's got a problem. Like, he is kind of a loose cannon. That's what led to Mark Henry going to go train with Stampede Wrestling and whatnot. And then it turned out it was Paul Bearer. Now, Shawn Michaels and Mark Henry get along way better today. Mark Henry's going on to say, like, you can't let you say something wrong or cross about Shawn Michaels. I'm going to be the first one to step up and defend him. Which is good to hear because it's like, I love that Shawn had that change in his life where he's like turned over a new leaf. Like, the Shawn Michaels today is just a far cry from the Shawn Michaels. It's kind of a Paul Gasol situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shawn Michaels in the 90s with the dick. Shawn Michaels today is like beloved. Same thing in a way with Triple H, but kind of not. Like, Triple H is in a position where he's going to be polarizing. Like, there are going to be people that say he made shitty creative decisions, but there's going to be people that's like, hey, Triple H is a far better human being than what he was in that McMahon Helmsley era, that Reign of Terror era. So, you know, I like seeing that Mark Henry is saying good things about Shawn because of what happened then. But I am not one to cancel him because of this shitty take on the Raja situation. I still am going to buy Mark Henry action figures. Still going to play with him in the game when his DLC comes out in 2K25 early, later this month in September coming up. I just don't do that because, you got one bad opinion or you say one stupid thing. Like Hulk Hogan said the N-word. Horrible, right? Fucking horrible. I'm a black man. I should hate him because he said it. And the fucked up thing is I know what Hogan was getting at. I just don't like him saying the N-word to get at that point. Like, basically, Hulk Hogan was saying, like, hey, I want my daughter to date a black dude. I want her to date a black dude that's civilized. Not no thug, gang-banging piece of shit motherfucker, right? But then when you say the N-word, that's when I'm like, okay, you had me until you said that shit, right? But I'm not sitting here saying I'm going to spit on Hulk Hogan's grave or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he did a lot of piece of shit things. Trying to sabotage his daughter's career and basically forging documents saying that she lost her record deal and whatnot when it was really him who did it. That was fucked up. He did some fucked up shit. He said something really fucked up and stupid. But I'm not, saying, I hope he's burning in hell with Hitler or some shit like that. Like, he didn't kill anybody. But he said one of the worst words you could ever say. And prior to that, Hogan didn't have a history of racism in the business. There is no history or anything of trying to hold black wrestlers down or sabotage black wrestlers' careers or anything like that. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. We gotta be judicious and think about how we react to some of the things these wrestlers do and say. Like, there are people that hate, people that aren't even black, that hate Hulk Hogan more than black people do, but the same people want Chris Benoit in the WWE Hall of Fame. Like, there's something logically fallacious right there. But anyway, I'm not going to unfollow Mark Henry because he had a shitty take. Because he's had a lot of good ones too. But what he said about Raja and saying like, hey, I'm somebody that don't like ribs, and saying like, hey, now the dude that he, Psycho Stu just proved that he can't fight, and it looked bad on him because he didn't defend himself and he couldn't fight back, and just a shitty thing to say. So, first off, the guy thought that Raja was coming in working. And when Raja shook his hand, when he agreed to be a part of coming in the ring, he was agreeing being a part of the show, a work. That would have been like somebody hitting you with a prop glass because you're on the set, right? And saying, all right, so this is what we go do. I'm going to call you a bitch because I think you were extra. And you agree that somebody come and say, okay, you're the extra. He thought you were an extra, but since you're back here, we could let you be an extra and you could shoot at him. And then you say, okay, shake his hand, I'm going to shoot him. And then you shoot him with a real gun instead of a prop one. That's basically what that was like. So Psycho Stu agreed with Raja doing this under the impression that Raja was coming in and work slamming him and probably giving him some forearms or something when he's on the ground. Or like, the hammer punch. You know what I'm saying? Like, how he's not really hitting him with his fist. He's hitting him like with the pound part of his fist, or hitting him with the wolf fang, not really hitting him. Guys hand in a circle, you could look through it, not with his actual closed fist. So for Mark Henry to say that, oh, now you got exposed for not being able to fight, the guy didn't think he was about to be in a real fight. So that's not really fair to say. But point blank period, Raja's a piece of shit for this. And damn near killing somebody like that was fucked up. An indie show, especially with the dude's mom being in the crowd, especially the dude being a veteran, especially when you agreed and accepted the guy's apology for him not knowing that you weren't a part of the show because you have a camera in the back with the boys in the area that only people who are a part of the show and one of the boys are usually at. That was fucked up. And I hope Raja does jail time for it. Good 10, 15, 20 years is adequate if you ask me. Not the rest of his life, but long enough for him to learn a lesson. And maybe throw in some psychiatric support up in there too, because, there's some repressed anger up in there. Then he probably needs psychiatric fucking help too. Because one of the wrestlers who restrained him, the guy who I said looks like a pink-haired version of Vance Archer from AEW, the guy's name was Doug Malo. He got punched in the eye by Raja. And he said that he think Raja, if he would have got him and gave him the same slam he gave Stu, he think he would have killed him too. He think if nobody got to Raja, because obviously after some of the punches, people knew, oh, fuck, he's shooting. Because even the referee didn't stop him. If they didn't get to Raja, he would have probably killed Psycho still. And the Doug Malo dude, the guy who looks like a pink-haired Vance Archer, thought that he would do the same shit to him too. Called him a fucking prick. So, it's just not a good look. And if this goes to litigation, which it probably will, because a lot of times, even if you don't press charges, because of the nature of the crime, the LAPD or the police department will file the charges themselves, their own investigation. So they're probably going to take him to task for it and hold him accountable for everything that was said in that stream where he's like, look, I'm going in there, I'm about to do some damage to him. Like, I'm about to hit him for real. I'm about to tag his shit. The guy told him to tag his shit, which in the court of law, they might not look at that as just wrestling, carny talk or semantics. They might look at that as like, hey, you literally provoked him and revved him up to go do this. So he might be called into question. So it's just all fucked up. And damn, I did not expect this to go 2 hours. But like I said, when you get these dogs days after not hearing from me from a week, you get a long episode. And I had a lot to say. I really can't wait to hear what Jim Cornette has to say about it. I still got a lot of videos to watch of people, other people speaking about it. Like, I want to see what Maven had to say about it. I saw what Steven Richards had to say about it. Him and James from Wrestling Shoe Interviews. I can't wait to see what Dutch Mantel has to say about it. Like, I want to hear everybody's opinion on this, because this is going to be one of those situations like the Mass Transit incident where you have like maybe a wrestling YouTube channel do compilations of everybody speaking about it. Like I remember one channel I follow, I can't think of the name, but they had like a bunch of people talking about the Brawl for All, Dark Side of the Ring type shit, right? This is one of those things where in a couple of years, you're going to have like just people talking about it. And you're going to have like clips of everybody giving their takes on it in one compilation. And it's fucked up. The funny thing to me was Hannibal was saying something about it. And I'm like, dude, didn't you have like a whole incident where you choked out or like stabbed the referee or some shit? Thought it was a little hypocritical, but anyway, I guess I can't even use my catchphrase for this shit. I can't, because I hate it. I don't want to live with it. I think it's fucked up. I'm not going to even use my catchphrase this episode. But anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Take care.